Aye. What? Look. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. Huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Aye. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. Huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Peekaboo, I just put them bookers in my chain. Peekaboo, 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Peekaboo, 762s will make them plain. Peekaboo, popping out, you better smell my name. Peekaboo, put two foreigns on the 405. Peekaboo, catchy pepper here from doing pasta. Peekaboo, why you acting tough on IG Live? Peekaboo, you know my nose off they rocker. Peekaboo, surprise, just that chicken cheese. Peekaboo, let me FaceTime my op. I'm up the street, peekaboo. Yes, AGs, I'm putting something to sleep. Peekaboo. He on the ground, I praise God and start stumping feet. Peekaboo. I put 10 on his face, my shooter playing. Peekaboo. I hit it from the back, I told her move her hand. Peekaboo. And saw my thumb in where her at. Peekaboo. On your top, I'm with God, don't look back. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I'm excited. I don't see nobody in here. That's cool. I'm excited anyway because we are talking about Alien Earth today. Get in here, as you will, and hit that like button. Let us know if you've seen the show, if you're interested, if you're waiting. I want to know. I want to hear some stuff. But Ashley, how are you feeling today? Muted today.
Give me a second. I'm gonna get it together. I'm feeling amazing today. I'm ready to get into this. I was so pleasantly surprised, Tyra. I'm really ready to talk all things Alien Nation, people. Alien Nation.
Yeah, the show was giving what I needed to give. But once again, if you're watching this on the replay, drop down and let us know your thoughts below on the show as well as our commentary. We're always going to start in the same place at the same time with the same person if I'm hosting. Ashley, what were your overall thoughts of the show?
So here's the thing. I went back. I had seen Alien and Aliens many, many years ago, right? That was one of my first forays into the sci-fi space. And so now I was like, all right, the show's coming out. I asked you, you were like, yeah, you should go back and watch a couple, see what's going on. So Bay had made me watch, I think, Prometheus. And then I had watched Alien and another one of them. I don't remember which one. And what struck me is that they were really driven around survival, right? Like everything was survival. There's not a lot to the plot, right? Other than there's these creatures and we need to make it and figure it out. I love that this show is diving narratively into a relationship between a hybrid and her brother. And I like the evolution of her, of this human consciousness. I like that she's the first one. I like that we have a story out of survival. I like that we actually kind of have this love story working, right? This family, this can I love him? Does he know me? What that's going to look like. So for me, that got me immediately because the blood, gore, all that, I can do without it. But if I have a core and a theme as we go through it, I absolutely love that. It's beautiful, the show. And I don't like blood. I don't like creatures. I don't like any of that. But even when I saw that cat, I said, oh, y'all had money. Y'all were doing things. The eyeball creature, the tick creature, all like y'all, that's so hard to do. And especially to do it for TV on such a grand scale. I think it looks visually stunning. And then as far as the performances, I love Timothy Oliphant over here. I think he's delivering as our, what is he called? A synth? Because he's full AI.
Yeah.
I love how he's working. I like Kid Cavalier. I like these characters. I watched it a second time today just to get my mind right. And they're acting. They're acting. The show is good. I'm following the story. And a win is a win for me. Give me a little exposition and I'm happy, Tyra. I like
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Now, y'all know I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of the Alien franchise, but kind of moving from overall thoughts and getting over here. Because y'all know your girl gonna find some cons. I'm gonna have a list of cons. No cons here. I couldn't think of one. I couldn't think of one. And we'll get into what I know what may be a con for some, kind of getting into this different xenomorph, but I'm not completely mad at that either. But pros? baby, this show is visually outstanding. I was like, oh my God, it's a movie. It's a movie. It is a gorgeous situation. I was like, oh my goodness. You ever, you got to make that meme like, oh my God, what's the budget? Especially us, y'all. We are such nerds and sticklers for visuals and concepts and world building. It's like, oh my God, this looks so amazing. It takes you in immediately. There was never an issue with, okay, I'm waiting for it to pick up, I'm waiting for it to grab me. No, just off the striking visuals alone, I was already here and sitting up because I wanted to know. And then we get into this world. So much of the alien movies, we're gonna take place on a good ship lollipop. We're gonna be on a ship. It's gonna be a survival. We're gonna be in space. We don't too often leave the premises of that here to get into a world kind of piggybacking off of something like Alien Romulus, where we do kind of get a world. This was so nice. This was so nice to sit and watch if you are a fan, which I have here. There is plenty of fan service here. You can tell that the person in charge, who we'll get to in a moment, he knew. He knew. So I'm going to take into account, no, I am not following the franchise and everything to a T. I am, utilizing certain things that if you are a strict fan, you're going to go, oh my God, I see that. Oh, I know that reference. Oh, that's a call back to such and such part 2, 1, and 3. It's all very much here. And I also like that it's like a collection of the alien films. It's not just one certain, because this is for, even though the director and the creator, the showrunner said something else, this is giving prequel to me. It's very much so giving prequel. He, said it in his own way, like, no, it's not so much, no, baby, this is giving prequel. We could have we could have really just rest in exactly what that is and not try to venture further into the franchise. But somehow we are a prequel predecessor to the first Alien film, but we're also kind of encapsulating and hitting visuals for our character arcs or just certain people in the universe. Just I was like, oh, this is nice. The character development immediately. I was like, oh my goodness. It's so hard to get some decent character development these days and get me to like or care about it. It's one thing to get you to like and care about one or two people. I'm invested in multiple people here. Even the ones that we just met, briefly. I'm like, ooh, I wonder where that's gonna go. Special effects, child. Getting back into, the budget. The budget is I really want to know, because I'm in awe. It takes a lot for me to be in awe of something. I was like, oh my goodness, the special effects and what they're able to do. The budget it has to be massive. I would love to know if anybody finds that out. Let me know, because these are the shows that they like to keep it all top secret. But the most important thing to me here is we're like retreading certain things in narratives, and we are getting fan service and oohs and ahs, but this show has its own identity already because we went in a different direction and we have a different narrative outside of our main person. We always have, they're going to find a Sigourney Weaver somewhere. We're going to have, that thing. We're going to have that ending standoff on the ship. And oh no, we're not quite getting away and flying up into the atmosphere because the Xenomorph made it onto the mothership. It's kind of, we retread those same steps. We're not doing that here. And I am extremely intrigued, as I said here. Ashley, anything else you want to add to pros and cons? Did you have any cons?
I did have cons, but they're very nitpicky, right? And the one of those was I was looking for a Sigourney type. And I told you this last night. I don't want some infantilized young woman heroine in this show. I want a bad bee. Because Sigourney in the first Aliens, honey, when she had that shirt and it was up here and that body was tea and face was giving and hair was, I was like, all right, sister. Like, I just knew we were going to come over here and there was going to be at least one moment of steam heat. My only other gripe, and again, this is just a narrative nitpick for me, I really, really, really hate these lost children.
You hate the lost children?
I do not enjoy these little kids in these grown-up bodies. It's throwing me so out of it. I mean, we here on this mission and you want to play patty cake. You're twirling around in your chair like a top and you investigating the slime. Sir, madam, what are we doing over here? And again, that's just for the story. But as far as, like I said before, You're right. This is visually outstanding. Again, even I think even if you're not a fan of the franchise like the predecessors, you can come into this story and just begin, right? You can begin and really not feel too out of your depth. I think they're telling a really succinct story. And I think that matters when you're building a series off of what were big blockbuster movies. My
Yeah.
what is my other con? I don't really like.
You're digging.
Again,
You're reaching.
everything I say for a con is really going to be nitpicky, and it's just about the kind of story that I would want to be told. But I do think they're doing an amazing job, and I'm completely sad. Those are my only the Lost Boys, Wendy and her Lost Boys, and like I said, me not having steam heat over here. That's it. That's my
I'm
cons.
not mad at the kids, and I am not mad because I know so many of us, we were really taken back by Alien Romulus. It was like, who are these young ass, ill equipped kids that y'all have flying? What are we doing here? We are used to a certain things when it comes to this movie. And he literally said, like, say less. So y'all was sick of those little teeny boppers you got over there damn near because that's what they look like. Yeah, we're gonna give you some infants. And I just appreciate that because you do have certain standards and boxes that you check off for the Alien franchise. I like that we don't have a Sigourney here. We've had Sigourney was carrying the series on her back for quite some time. I don't need big findness here. I've had enough of it. If I wanted, I would go over and revisit those films. I personally don't need a good midriff out. We're cool on that. I'm cool on that. But let me get this super chat here from Dane. Thank you so much, Dane. Salute Tyra slash Ashley Khan, moon walking alien. Boy, thank you,
Please.
Dane.
I will say this. Another pro that I really, really liked was what was it, Tyra? I just had it on the tip of my tongue, and I was really going to give them some praise, but I forgot. So go ahead, and I'll remember it later.
I mean, maybe it'll come to you right now while we get into the showrunner, creator, director, the visionary here. I feel like Noah is doing his thing. Noah is doing his thing as far as writing, as far as directing, as far as creating. I need to go see what's happening over there with Fargo and Legion because I have watched neither of these shows. I was unfamiliar. I was like, "Who is this?" Oh, he must be. I was like, "Oh, he has a lot of notable projects under his name," but I just so happened to have not watched them because I'm a stickler. I was like, I've watched Fargo. I don't need to watch the show. What's happening with Legion? I need to go watch these. I need to go watch these because I really am intrigued by his eye and what he's able to do. It takes a lot to come here and stick your neck out and do something different and kind of have like a U-Haul, but also give fan service and remember to hit certain key points to, have people not go, oh, well, this isn't on par with the Alien. Like this franchise is what, 78, 79.
79, yeah.
79. Everybody is going to come here with a nitpicky idea of what this is supposed to be and what it ain't. And I think he made it really hard for, like you said, you would have to be really kind of being anal to find a con with it. Even though Nikki said, it's some cons, baby. It's some cons. I feel like he's done, a really exceptional job. Visually, I love the sound. I love like the little keys when he has no changes in the music, the little like the sound design is just really I was like, this is good. This is good. And like I said, I feel like he has taken certain things from every single film here from what I can see. And we still have a lot to go on, but he's checking all the boxes all while making this his own thing. And I think that's absolutely incredible. Ashley, Noah.
Absolutely. And I remembered somebody had put it in the chat. When the opening sequence, and like I said, I literally just watched the first Alien. If that wasn't showing all of the respect and giving your flowers to the original director, I don't know what is. From the casting of the crew that was there to just the optic, like the look, it was stunning, and it felt like you're back then. You know what I mean? It was a thing. I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing over here.
For at least 5 minutes straight, I thought that was a de-aged AI Yafikoto. I was like,
Listen,
is that Yafikoto? I was like, no, this is a whole new crew and a whole new situation. But everything, the detail in the show has been great. But the detailing there to check those boxes, even with making the ship look like its own thing in the universe, we're still making it a point to make it look like a female anatomy. Y'all know how the alien films be rolling up. It's he did his homework, and I think that's good. The way I thought that was Yaphet Kotto, and it was not.
Absolutely. I was like, are we like, is this the same? It can't be. They're not. That's not the same crew. But no. And as far as Fargo, it's amazing. Go back, go watch it. I actually just jumped into Fargo season 5 because it is anthology style and it's amazing. So if he's behind any of those, I say go over there. I've never checked out Legion, but much respect to this man out here doing his big one. Because when we get into these fandoms, especially over in a certain space, it can get real murky. And everything that I've read in the Reddits and online, people are really, really taking to this. And I think that's challenging to do, to come into a franchise, an existing franchise, one that's been around for 40 plus years, and kind of put your own mark while showing respect. I think that's a task. And I say he stepped up to the challenge. He's doing a really, really good job, at least in these first 2 episodes.
And I say, like, kudos to Ridley Scott for, I know that he, spoke to him, and he's not a part of the project, but he's a part of that project because I know he wanted to make sure the tempo and things were correct. I'm going to check with the man upstairs, but kudos to him for stepping, to the side. At a certain point, with certain franchises that are everlasting, high key, your, Mad Max, something like this, the directors who have been in the game for a very long time, at a certain point, especially with the franchise, I'm not sure if it was Prometheus or Covenant, but I was like,
Don't do that. Stop.
I think it was Covenant, and I was like, Mr. Scott, the visuals are there, but something's not clicking, and it's just at a certain point you have to know when to step to the side, like with Mad Max and the Furiosa. I was like, so for him to know and hey, let someone else take the reins. That's how I know the show's cooking. I know he wouldn't let any old body attach himself to the franchise and the name and do poor. No, this is good. This is cooking. Y'all need a little sorry cons. What cons? Because I ain't see none. But leaving Noah here, definitely. I don't know. I really am intrigued by Legion because and I didn't know Fargo was an anthology. Oh, okay. But we're gonna start here.
It's different. Yeah, it's good.
We're gonna start here with this man, the cyborg, and I had to put that there because I was like, y'all, I was rushing. Don't mind that why. I was like, who is he and what is he? Because like Ashley said, so much when we met the initial crew and we have these flashbacks and I was like, we get gory early. We gonna get into the gore because baby, I was like, what kind of xenomorph is this? But I was like, this is Ash. This is Ash Yaphet Kotto adjacent because he was absolutely giving that in the beginning. The ship looked so good. Everything. They got the patches on their uniforms. Everything down to the detail let you know exactly who these people were and where they were. And we're getting kind of the same mission, the same thing in a short amount of time. But we do know that this man here is his money, his man, and his mansion. Because I'm leaving here with something. He is really intriguing. He is really intriguing. And I'll get to my slide as far as why I really feel so, because I haven't seen a black man in the Alien franchise here in this capacity exactly. And I'm really excited for that. But I want to know who sent you. Who designed you? Who upgraded? Because this isn't. I thought that this was a complete like AI sentient. Like, no, you are a cyborg. You're still a person. Where? You couldn't tell me that this was still a person. I was really surprised when we got that information. And of course, he is, part cyborg. So he has these enhancements where you see the torch come out of the hand and I think a knife later. So he has these enhancements. But the way that he is completely void of emotion, and he left my son for dead. The way he just left these people for dead and even said that they were dead before we even had the initial count, because I'm preparing for a crash landing to get to whatever the mission is. We don't know exactly what that is and who sent him, but baby, he's going to make it happen. It's giving Unstoppable. It's giving a little hint of Terminator. It is just really a lot of this. What I also appreciated, if you are a fan of Ridley Scott and you love something like Blade Runner, it's a little bit of that in here too. Like, it's just really, really fun. But actually, what do you think about the crash landing and his mission of trying to capture that alien? Who sent this man? And were you surprised that he was a cyborg?
When I went back and listened to it, I understand that he's employed by that other company, Rutland. Y'all put it in the comments because I know y'all know more than I do.
Yeah.
And I know he works for that company, and he was very sure about his mission. When I read, because I did read a little bit, I'm not going to give no spoilers, but I did read something about his background, and something happened in his history that made him the way that he is. When I read his bio, I was like, oh, okay.
Stop more! Who told you movies?
Listen, because I needed to know, sir, why are you like the way that you are? Because he does give you're a full synth. That's what I thought initially. But actually, in the first 5 minutes, they call him a cyborg. And he's kind of alienated on the crew, even though he's like the head of security, which I thought was really, really dynamic and interesting because you're the head of security and you said F them people. She was banging on that door and he said, I'm never letting you in, ho. Like, it's you. You got to get it out in blood. We had one mission that was to get the specimen back. And I just think he is full on true believer right now for whatever reason. And I don't know if that's got something to do with his lore, his backstory, but I'm so intrigued by this black man. When he told that man, he said, I'm not your brother. What do you think this is? I come here to save
I
you.
ain't your brother.
I'm not
Your
your
brother,
brother.
why? Why, man? Why? You say
I
black
said,
man. Not Tommy black man.
I said, Shaft MacGyver, I'm not about to play with you, but I enjoy him. I'm interested to see all that he's going to do. I think that initially I was like, oh, he's nefarious. In hindsight, I do think he's just sent to accomplish a mission. And I think anybody could get that work on the way. Because when he shoots Hermit, I said, well, damn, I thought you was saving somebody. I'm not saving nobody. I came here to collect this thing, and that's what I'm about to do and take it back to whoever. But I will really, really be interested because we have to dive deep. But shout out to this actor because he's delivering. In these first 2 episodes, I was like, all right, sir. Okay, Chef MacGyver with the love
Who
it.
this man? Who this man? What else is he in? I'm definitely gonna go look and investigate because I was like, I've never because at first I thought it was Alfie Koto. I thought like it was Yaphet Kotto on the. I was like, oh, here we go. We're really gonna have like y'all gonna go back. I was like, no, this shot and this scene is just that damn detailed and looks that good. This isn't the same, ship or the same actors. I was mad. But I'm saying, like, as far as who sent him, we get the motive to capture the alien and everything. Because at first I was like, oh, he's like, no, I don't care who can get it. I'm not here to spare anybody's life or be a savior. I have this one mission. Don't get in my way and you'll probably be okay. But I'm not hop skipping to save you either. But we have that scene, which was so great when first did okay. The only thing where we're getting into, I guess, what would be like a con, but I'm not sure. And then I'm like, he's a cyborg, so there is, human. Like when that was that not acid that dropped on his face? I haven't
No,
seen one.
I got checked, girl. I got checked, and they told me what it was. They said the ooze. I called it primordial ooze, and they said that's just their what you call it. That's not the acid. The acid is the green that comes out. That's what burns through Soul and Slayer and whatever, and that's I think their blood, right?
I
That's
will
not
tell
the
you
stuff that
this.
comes out of them. That's what they
As
told
a
me.
fan, and all the freaking movies I've watched, the way that they manipulate and use that acid to its advantage, there's never a slick or slither or slime of something. Majority of the time, coming off of the alien that isn't acid. So when that primordial goop or goo dropped on his face when he was going in that little capsule prepared for crash landing, I was like, why isn't it searing through your face down to the bottom of your brain and through the ship? But okay.
I'm gonna
If you
tell
say
you. I'm gonna find the message, honey, and read it to you what the people said. Because she said, if you go back to the comics, you'll really know. I said, lady, I'm not doing all that. The ooze doesn't burn, and it's clear. The xenomorph's blood is green and burns like acid. That's what she told me. That's what she told me. Only their blood.
it's not true. It
Only the
does,
blood is acid.
but I swear, this was one of the few times, and I don't know if it's because it dropped on this man. I was waiting on it to sear through, and it was like, yeah, we're going to subvert those expectations. The goop is just going to goop. I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to sear into that man's head. But okay. There's that. And then it's not even just that. I haven't seen any acid.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Now and then somebody else commented and basically said that maybe those tests haven't been run yet, or that somehow they get engineered to have that type of blood, like as a form of a weapon. Yeah. So maybe we
That's
just
what
haven't
I
seen it.
thought when the proverbial goop didn't sear through. Yape Kodo Jr. Okay. But the mission and everything, we have this crash landing. It's like he's being sent there by the competition in the other company. But with the crash occurring, it's like, how does this benefit the other company? Are they sent there? Because we'll get to it. It's like, yeah, I want all my items and what's owed to me off of the ship. And we have him talking and referring back to someone, and I feel like they gave him orders. But how does that particular crash landing and the way that it's going, because it's not like you're having an easy time getting this alien, how does this benefit you or the other team that you're supposedly working for?
Girl, the only thing that it's giving me, right, is that of course we have Prodigy that's on the ground, and that's the one who's like kind of the ruling class in the part of Earth that we're in, ruled by Kid Kavalier, and that he's going to try to take the specimen. I think there's this war. Well, I know that there's this war for power by these different corporations on the globe, right? So I think whoever gets the specimen is going to be the one in power, and I think the company Raylan, whatever that company is that actually sent them on this 65-year mission into space, had pre-knowledge of it. Like, I don't know if the other entities did, how they got this knowledge, but I mean, immediately when we're down there, it's like, okay, now we have our chance to get it. But Mr. Shaft MacGyver is going to fight till his last breath to try to keep it in the family.
MacGyver, actually. Why Shaft MacGyver? I love this though. Next is like, maybe y'all think I know, but he was giving that so hard. I was like, y'all think it's not him. It's not him. But the reason that I am intrigued by this character so much and what's to come, because if you are a fan, you know what capacity we show up in this film under. You can be quite non-essential, or you're simply sacrificial. We don't kind of differ from that plan. Even Yafe got that work and was giving a little sec, because you ain't have to be there, Yafe Kodo. Okay, you supposed to make it, brother. And then of course, over there we have Idris, like getting his Jurassic Park world on. Like, you do not have to take the brunt and die for the cause, brother. Charles S. Dutton down there dying for the cause, my brother. Like, they often don't have their own motivations outside of course, I'm the ship. I'm either a crew member, or I could maybe even be the captain or the driver, or whatever, or a prisoner. But it's simply kind of the same motives. And I think I'm getting what I really wanted. An Alien Rumbleless. I was so ready for Andy to be evil and just go rogue and just be like, I feel like he's that. And I'm just really excited for that. And I thought it was really thoughtful of Noah to put a brother here in a different capacity. Like, Lord, are you going to die for the cause? Yafe Kodo, Shaft MacGyver? Don't do that. You need to speak to be evil. I love that. But that's why I was looking forward to the brother. Now, leaving this here, we also got some interesting things here. We got some interesting things here. Now, with us, holding on to what the Alien franchise typically is, you're thinking it's going to go a certain way. I was like, okay, we're going to probably world build. It's going to be slow, and we're going to meet some intriguing characters. It's probably going to look good, but it's probably going to be a minute before we actually see a Xenomorph. And it's probably going to be even longer before he actually, actively, the eggs and the face huggers and, get the killing and slicing. That normally takes a little while. It was instant. I was like, whoa, this is an aggressive ass Xenomorph. This Xenomorph is mad. I was like, it's so mad. I was like, oh my goodness. Now, I think that we're getting this new version. Well, it's the same, but you can tell it's different. We normally have so many moments of visuals and silence, and that's the thing, especially with that first Alien movie. You're getting lost in the silence, and it's the creep factor. You barely see the Xenomorph, and when you do, it's very quick until you absolutely need to, and we have that standoff. And we sort of kind of have that on rinse and repeat throughout the franchise. So for this Xenomorph to pop out immediately, slicing and dicing, I felt it when we were getting that first episode, and we had flashes of these different creatures and things and I know we're getting to, but it's like, of course, this is how the mission started, but this is how everyone eventually ends up. But this was great. This was so bloody. I was like, oh my God. Ashley say the hoes gonna love this. Tyra's gonna love this hot
That's
mess.
what I
All
said.
these, it was so good, y'all. It was so good. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm so used to waiting. I'm so used to, being set in silence and like, oh, okay, well, all right, we know impending doom is coming. That Xenomorph's gonna pop out sooner or later. No, it is here, and not only here, but here in full glory. It's very bright. It's all well lit. You can see it. I was like, what are we doing here? Ashley, how did you feel about this new Xenomorph, and why do you think we took this same direction? Outside of just, of course, wanting to be different and have its own narrative, but we don't even like see a hive or anything yet. This is a collective, like specimen, and this is like our starter. This is our alien.
I mean, I'm excited. I thought he looked cool. People were saying he looked cheap. I didn't think he looked cheap. And actually, the scene where we get into the Louis and Lestat dinner party, and they're in there, and we see that huge frenzy. I thought that was probably like my favorite scene. Either that or the guy getting sucked dry by the new little tick creature. I thought that was like, okay, y'all are doing the most. But no, I have no issue with them. I mean, he's a little petite, little fun size. But if we're thinking about it, I guess we saw a big one on the ship originally, didn't we? Is this a different one than what we saw when Shaft MacGyver was hiding?
I'm
Is
not
this a
sure.
different one?
I don't think this is a different one. I think it's. I think we've seen the
Oh,
same.
'cause he's
The
kind of
same
fun
one.
size.
Well, we have to play with them for certain scenes because we're getting full on that visual when we have like when I have favorite kills and favorite effects. The Lestat party was rocky because he said, "Who go where? Baby, I paid to be here. I know people in high places. I'm not leaving." And he's
Listen.
like slithering, crawling on the floor with half a body, and this Xenomorph leaps from the window onto brother Joe. I was like, "Oh my god!" I say, "Ashley, oh my god!" I don't know what I
Yeah.
text you. I said, "Oh," I said, "Ashley."
It was so good. It was just so
Ashley,
visually. It was so visually
that's what I
stunning.
said. I said, "Ashley, did you see that shit?"
That's exactly what you said. But no, even the afterwards, I was like, oh wow, how is a bloody room just look so pretty? Like it just and it's like softly lit with the candles, and you're like, oh man. And then we see Maro come in. That's probably my favorite kill. I really, really enjoyed that scene because it was like, oh yeah, we're fine. We're fine. We're rich. We have money. We don't hear anything going on outside of this room. You be about your business. But no, the effects, the graphics, it's cool. And I like him. I mean, I'm not into all that, Tyra. That doesn't move me. The creature of it all. I just like what kind of looks cool and what gets the job done. And let's do it as fast as possible so we can go to the next scene. And you are totally right about the silence because when I was rewatching the first Alien, I was like, you can't be serious. I was like, God, it's like an hour of just silence. So immediately I said, when you do this show, you can't do that. Like there was no way people were going to hang on to a TV show. And that's probably the only other complaint I have, Tyra, is the fact that I really feel like they could have just dropped episode 1.
Oh
We
yeah,
didn't need
that's a con.
we didn't need 2 episode drop this first week. We didn't need that. Mm-mm.
We're there. They're like, we need you to be engrossed in the universe. We need y'all there for episode 3. We would have been there just for episode 2 based off of 1. We did not need a 2 episode premiere. I was not prepared to be set like that. I was like, what the? Oh my god, this was a movie already. This was great though. I loved every single kill. I love like the flashing. I just love how it was shown. It's very, and I was gonna say that it's very easy for the Xenomorph to look plastic, to look cheap, to look wonky, and it's like, I think it looks good. I didn't think it looked cheap.
I
I
thought it
didn't.
looked good. That's what people are saying. I thought it looked good. I was like, oh, that shot where you have Morrow and he's being very still. He's like, you shouldn't fear. He did try to warn them people a little bit, like, don't, and he's standing there and the Xenomorph is right here until somebody comes in and distracts. I thought that looked really, really good.
And
I
it's
did.
good, and you gotta like remember for so many, especially those earlier films, you get those quick shots, and we can't linger too long. It could have looked like the alien in Alien 3. Y'all better calm down. It could have looked like that. It could have been over there. I feel like it looks so good. Now what I didn't like the eggs. I didn't like the way the eggs look. I was like, why the eggs so pretty? Where is the slime? Where is the murky muckness? Where's the mucus? Like the eggs looked very pretty in that shot that we got in the end. But outside of that, I felt like it looked good. And it looks good far away, close up. You can tell that they took their time on it. It could look great somewhere else and look bad in another spot. And often, a lot of the alien films, it looks really good when we have those up close shots, and we have the
The
which
drool,
calls the drool,
please.
the drool popping out or the acid, and then when you're far or too back, y'all think about that infamous alien kill when we had the dude in the suit and the alien pops out and goes like what is this alien? We could have had some of this action. They didn't do that. Actually, when he's in the vent
I
and
didn't see
he's like,
three. I didn't see
no, no,
three.
this is the first one. This is the first one. This is when they had
Oh,
that
I
tall
thought you
black
said
man in the
Alien
suit.
3.
It was very much so giving suit, and it's when they're in the vents and he's trying to track and detect exactly where it is, and the alien literally pops out and does this.
Look like
It's
Holy
very
Crown.
comical. We are not over there with this. I feel like this looked great. They had me when they dropped. First, no, it's not even that. They really had me when Yaphet Kotto, Chef MacGyver, he let that lady outside and sealed the door, and that alien comes, the Xenomorph comes and bashes his head through there, and we get
Mhm.
that visual up. I was like, oh, boy, don't make me cuss. This is amazing. This is amazing. Save it with your mom. And I'm here for the kills. I don't know, for some it was maybe a bit immediate. I appreciate it. I was like, oh, he didn't come to play. Because for so many shows, especially now, he could have just took a rest on the alien name and franchise. Like, oh, that makes it horror. No, he was like, no, you're going to get the horror. We're going to get graphic and we're going to get gory. I'm here for that. Kill some more people next time we're here. It was amazing. I love that.
Now, I do have a question for you. Do you think that we are going to get more flashbacks to exactly what happened on the voyage to get us to that point? Because of course we meet them, we meet the Predator Ting, and I'm like, we're sitting here for a reason. So I'm really curious about the events of the ship prior to him absconding.
Yeah, I
And
think so.
you think we're going back? Okay.
So I don't think I think it would do a disservice because we didn't have to spend that much time there with those people, and like we didn't have to see. And then they are also introducing what else is here. What I thought was really different. I was like, we already have a big enough threat with the synths and the cyborgs and the artificial intelligence of the world, and now we have new creatures along with the xenomorph. We have this octo tentacle I thing. Like we have that. There's that prepared to suction you as well, and then we also have these ticks that, from what it looks to like, maybe give off a leech effect, and I think it drained the blood out of these soldiers and it crawled away. Do you think that this is too much? Do you like it? How do you feel about these new creatures along with the xenomorph?
I'm telling you, one of my favorite scenes is this octopus eye that's in the cat, the little kitty cat, and comes out. I just thought that looked visually so cool. I was like, how long did it take him to do that? That looked amazing. But no, I like it. Like, let's not just have one big bad. I like that there are these insidious little creatures, and anybody can get this to work. Like the little tick, the little long tick that just climbs around and does his business until he's ready to get you. I was like, oh Lord, like it's so diabolical and creepy and scary. I love it. I am still waiting for the ones in the water glass to pop out because I don't think we've seen all of their bag of tricks, and I hope there's even more iterations because what I'm really curious about is were they actually aiding and helping in the development of new creatures on this journey? Was that part of their assignment as they were collecting specimens, or were these all in their original form? I like that it makes me have more questions about the universe and what more we can expect in the series and how much they knew before the events of the first Alien
Yeah,
movie. Like, I'm
that's where I'm
really
at.
trying
That's
to get
all
over
I'm
it.
worried about. Because by the
Yeah.
time we get to Aliens, Alien 3, this is unheard of. This is a new discovery. So what did we do to wipe the slate clean to where nobody remembers these massive events happening? Like what happened? That's what I want to know. I want to know what happened because we know that by that time the alien becomes a hot commodity and everybody's greed and we're trying to capture it in that. So that was always a thing. But we crash landed on Earth. Somebody had to see and know something. Now, and of course, we have those eggs. We know that it's going to eventually be more than one alien there, and they're going to wreak havoc. How does anybody not know about that? That's where I want to go. But that's just yeah. I'm here for the new creatures. It was very unexpected. I never thought we needed multiple threats, but it's kind of intriguing to know that something else could pop out beyond a face hugger and a xenomorph. Now we have this leech and this. I was like, oh my god, like as if we didn't have enough going on. I think it's going to be interesting, and I want to know at any point because we do have that conversation with was it Kirsch, and he's talking about the scorpion, and he has this little metaphor where like what if the scorpion teams up with such and such and another opposing threat to subvert what they think that you're doing. I was like, is there going to ever be a moment where this thing teams or these things team up with the Xeno? Like, going to be some crossover. It's just so many possibilities, and that's what I like about the show the most. I walked away with questions, and I love the questions. But yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Leaving this here and getting into Wendy Child.
Oh,
We meet
Jesus.
Wendy. Oh, Ashley, we meet Wendy. Wendy is giving Winona Ryder. I was like, this is Winona Ryder and Alien Resurrection. That's what she feels like. But she's not quite that because at least over there, Winona was a whole adult minded. We meet Wendy prior to her being Wendy, and that was really intriguing too because we knew that there was something nefarious going on, and it's like, oh, they're trying to help the babies. No, we're not. This isn't some peaceful transition, and no, you're trying to subtract her whole consciousness, and it'll be in this Cynthia here. I I fell for that baby. That's why I'm mad at the kids here because I fell for all the kids here. I felt for all the kids here, but I thought it was really interesting the way we decided to take something like Peter Pan and Wendy, and I think that the title of this episode, the first episode, was Neverland,
Neverland.
actually. Yeah, and just have it to where, for me, it was confirmation immediately. I was like, if we're going with that Neverland narrative, these these first hybrids, they're not expected to go beyond exactly what they are mentally. So I'm like, what use could they be to you if they are, and we'll get to them children, but what use could Wendy be? I feel like Wendy is going to subvert the expectation of what they thought these first hybrids, well, what the hybrids could be in general, but she will because she's the first hybrid. Because to me, even though it's very slow, because she is extremely childlike, she's evolving. She's evolving and she seems very mature and mindful in a way, even the way that she could be here and they gave her the little talk after the transition. Well, now we need you to be a recruiter for the most part. Can you be a big sister? Can you pull them in even for that much? No, the kids we meet later, it don't even seem like they would have the capacity to be a
Mm-mm.
recruiter, to lure children in, to have more hybrids. But I am really intrigued with her connection to the xenomorphs, even though it's very convenient. I'm like, girl, what help is it, Wendy, if you gonna tell us you hear the xenomorph and it's literally right there? We need to know prior to this. But I think that's something that could be used later. And mainly, we're here with this longing connection to Brother Joe. I do like the fact that they want her to be so robotic and have this non emotional, like with your, like, no, I'm not that. I still long for my brother and I still have a hint of humanity, even though I am a hybrid. And I just don't know exactly how. I don't know. I'm gonna watch it again. I watched the episodes twice. I'm gonna watch it again. But the boy genius, boy prodigy, he did make it clear that they couldn't do this with adults because their minds are just too flooded and it's just not accessible during the transition. It's easier here. But what use are these hybrids to you if they only have a certain mental capacity? I'm intrigued by that. But I'm gonna be here for when, even though she don't have a Sigourney or Weedy about her. I don't know, ain't no legs, hips, and bodies over there. I am set for her to grow, evolve, and get beyond the expectation of what this company ever expected her to do. Because even now, in these first two episodes, you see her disobeying orders. She said, I'm going to save my brother. It's like, yeah, no, you're going to do exactly what we told you to do because that's what you're trained to do. No, I'm going to find and save my brother. But I think that's interesting. And I also, I'm not sure what all they want out of Wendy because they do want her to fall in line and be as less of a human as possible, but we also continue to let her have this connection to watch and have this POV of her brother and really immerse herself in these memories and times that she can never have again. So I'm like, what do y'all want her to do? I think there's a bigger plan for Wendy that we don't know about, but I think she's also going to grow beyond what they're necessarily expecting now because we see her evolving here. Ashley?
Absolutely. We know Boy Kavalier is a maniac. He is like a dwarfed Bill Gates. It's something very, very terrible. They said he's like the youngest trillionaire ever. He started this company Prodigy. And I actually took it as that they will just be youthful forever, not necessarily mentally, but that they are going to have this sentient body that's going to remain youthful forever. I know that since she's the first, she was definitely the guinea pig and the prototype to see what this technology could do. It doesn't sound like this has ever been done before. And so I don't think they fully know what to expect. You have Timothy Oliphant's character, Kirsch, breaking it down for her like, no, this is what it's going to be. You'll be absent of emotion. You won't have feelings or hormones or any of those things anymore. It'll just be the best of your humanity put in this being that can exist forever, right? But now we see, oh yeah, she's able to just know how to hack things. And I think that's kind of the exciting part about it, is because we know AI, the issue people have a lot of times with it is the fact that it can learn and it can adapt and it can change and it can grow. And I think that's exactly what we're going to see with like the Xenomorph and all of that. I think we're going to see evolution happen. And I think that's what we're seeing with Wendy. I don't inherently hate Wendy, right? If we think about Wendy and her lost boys, honey, she's going to be the one in charge. She's going to be the boss. She's going to wrangle them in together. Ideally, in a perfect world, their mind would grow year over year and they would age
So
mentally, right? Their just body will stay. I don't know. It's just so annoying that they're all 9, 10, 11, 12 years old right now. I just,
be that damn old with how they're running around frolicking on that damn ship. They can't be
they
that old.
said he was 12 or 13 and the other boy was 12, right? When they bump into Hermit. That's what they say. So, I mean, and I was like, well, that's kind of I don't know. Like I said, I don't like the concept of a childlike mind in an adult body, because in what precarious situations are they going to be put
Yeah, we
in
even
throughout
see
the
them
series?
a little bit with Wendy when she's talking about, her breast and
See,
all this thing, and they bring up, sperm, and it's like tee hee hee. Like, I don't like that concept either. I thought they would mature and they would, soak up all this information and evolve and learn, but it just seems like it's only going to be Wendy, and it is also a very slow progress, if any. And I don't know what the end game is for, because like we said, they have these expectations of Wendy or whatever the children in general to be X, Y, and Z, but it's not like she's the first. She's an evolvement from, the cyborg and the Synthian and now this. But you guys know enough to know that they have a capability beyond whatever this is, and they're eventually going to become like they naturally have to evolve. So why would you expect them to stay like this? I don't know.
I don't know what the expert. I think because the way that Madam Dame, whoever she is watching her and following after her, it gives like, I'm just trying to see like, oh, this is different. Oh, this is maybe what we can expect in the next one. And since she was the first, maybe she's had a little bit of time to sit in it. I don't know, but what I will say is they're very surprised that she's kept this attachment to her brother.
Yeah,
Hermit Crab
that's the thing.
over here. And so I'm very interested to see. She can't be isolated though. This can't be an isolated event, because aren't hybrids going to be a thing moving forward? I think this is just the step in perfection, and I think she'll be the blueprint in terms of her evolution with it.
Because the way that they were talking and from what they said, it was like, oh, they're supposed to be void of all emotion and feelings and just be on
She
go
got
and kind of
motion.
follow commands and orders. But if that's what you wanted, why would you give them the memories of, her prior to her being in this body? I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that defeats the point of having a human consciousness. You might as well have just kept your sense, just like Kirsch. Like, just keep him. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I don't, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm intrigued to definitely know more. But moving on over to here to these children that Ashley does not like. I'm interested to see where these children go. When I tell you these actors were acting down, 13 and 12 is pushing it. I thought they were every bit. And we saw the children there. And I guess this is, it comes part of the course, the interpretation of what these adults would assume these children. It's like, it's very pew, 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 pew. I was like, what is this? Like, they're not giving, all that much old. But I feel like they endeared us to them immediately when they got there. It was like, when do we get to go home and we get to fly like you? They're all, fit with some type of ailment to where they're not long for this world. And we're framing it as kind of a saving grace and kind of giving these children the transition talk when it's not a transition. You can never go home again. You're going to always be here and be exactly who you are and be used to whatever capacity that we see fit. But I feel like we were endeared to them. I didn't want nothing to happen to these children. Because they're so childlike. I don't see, even though we're hybrids. It's just children. I have a heart for children. I was like, get them out of here. But the
Since
last thing,
when?
what?
Since when?
Please,
You're like
you don't
killing
know my
kids.
life. You don't know my life. I do like children. I'm a teacher, for God's sake.
Damn
Certain
it, Jim.
children I don't like. You know the type of children I don't like. I like these children. They were the way they were for a reason. But we have mission failed and we couldn't retrieve these items. Well, hey, these items can never be retrieved by your everyday regular human person. Why not send these hybrids? And I was like, we're going to send these hybrids to do what? Like, this has to be a different motive or test that we don't know, because you couldn't possibly send them here in this capacity and expect them to accomplish anything. And it's the whole thing about them, like, oh, they don't have any feelings, emotions, the humanity is gone, they're just trained to go. They're absolutely not. They're frightened out of their minds. They're like, no, don't leave me here. They're lost sheeps. I don't know what to do. I'm just here. Ew, what's that? And in discovery mode when their life is just, or it's absolutely in danger. But actually, why do you think they sent these children?
Well, they would have us believe that because Wendy asked for it, because Wendy asked for this mission to go and see about her brother and make sure that he came home, since he's like a first responder, a medic. But there is more to the story. I think they want to test them in the field to see what they're capable of. Because here's the thing, their bodies are probably capable of a lot, but they're slow. These babies are slow. When that eye popped out on that girl, the fear that she had on her face, I mean, that one little boy spinning on the top, hugging the wall, the other one playing with the ooze. I said, please. This is a dummy mission. Why would you do that? And then you have damn Dora the Explorer with a sword on her back, like she's about to go put in real work, like Wendy girl. And not only that, but even as you're navigating through this ship and you're working your way to find hermit crab, you have no situational awareness of anything around you. I'm like, were they trained? Did we miss something? Like, I went back and I was like, did I miss a clip where they have, I mean, I guess they have built-in intelligence and maybe bodily intelligence, but I couldn't see it because they wasn't giving up fights. Like, it gave, I'm petrified, I'm scared. Why are we here? Can we go home? And I don't like that. This is the one thing with the show. I don't like the Lost Boys. I just don't. I think it's odd and I don't understand
No.
it.
I think there's something else going on beyond just the transferred consciousness. I think there's a switch somewhere that hasn't been hit yet. Because the way that
Oh, they're
they're
sleeper
not,
cells.
yeah, they're not just, because they're not just watching Wendy. They're like, oh, did we, mess up giving her so much access to the brother? Like, what's going on there? And then I also think we have a moment where her POV, like they're looking at something through her eyes. I think they have more access to them to do certain
Yeah.
things that they haven't done yet. There's no way that they're expecting anything out of them in their current state. And then, of course, we'll get to Kirsch, but he's here as head wrangler and mentor. Like, and he could be done. Like, I don't. You can't tell me he wants to be here. Like, there must be something that we're going to hit in the back, and it's just like, oh, Wendy and X, Y, and Z. I don't know any of their names, but yeah, this isn't all that they're built for, because they're essentially useless right now.
Well,
And
let's
I
hurry
know
up and
that
get there.
we didn't do all of that work just to. Oh, okay. I could do it, especially not the evil boy genius. But getting over here, child, actually sound like them kids. Getting to this. I said, maybe not. They have him put his dirty feet up on the table and eat an apple all in the same episode. I said, oh, he's evil. He's evil, especially with this lady in the Japanese culture. You got your feet all in this lady's face and the camera. You're holding up the voice chat call with your feet. But this is a mad prodigy if I've ever seen one. When he sat there and told that lady, like, oh, I'm just hoping to push humanity to evolution, like either evolve and match up with what I'm
Yeah.
doing or kind of get crushed. This should push humanity, push something. I'm just looking for someone to finally have an intelligent conversation with because I'm just that superior. I think he has a strong superiority complex, and I also really like his situation in adjacent to the Peter Pan film and Wendy and that whole thing. Because baby, who are you in the grander scheme of that is definitely giving a mad king, mad something because he's just looking to be challenged. But we know in the wake of him looking for some gratifications and something to challenge his immersive mind with him being a trillionaire and wanting for nothing and for the most part just being bored. I'm going to do these things because I'm capable of it, but we're not thinking about the repercussions of it. I really enjoy the lack of humanity in the show. there
Yeah.
isn't there isn't much. There isn't much, and he's the main. Especially with how young he is, he's already kind of jaded in that sense of, huh? It doesn't matter. He has no quarrels with the kids and transitioning the flowers. Like, get it done. Is it done yet? Let's just see if it works. Everything is just kind of a product to him, and that's very scary with who he is. He really reminded me of, child. Who's the scientist? The architect in the later film. I can't remember his name. Oh, dude from Prometheus Covenant, them streets. It's like he's a younger version of that. Like he's that, and you know what happened with that. But these are the ones who grow up and they become so immersed in power that eventually we get to, oh, this is just all about power, greed, and eventually like something like immortality, like what that man was in Quest for. I can't remember his name, Jesus. But I think that this is just really intriguing that it's not an adult, it's actually a child, and he is in this state, and then he has so much control and autonomy over everybody underneath him. And then we have this fellow CEO here where we're probably getting into competitions where I think they said that it was five
Four and
people,
four that roll the globe. Yeah, four companies.
and yeah, they're all just kind of dwindling where he is really thriving. And I think we're gonna be really in competition to see who can get all of the whatevers, but really the xenomorph. No spikes to the tick and the octopus, but we trying to get that xenomorph. I'm just really intrigued to see where he goes because he's so distasteful already. It'd be interesting to see him evolve with age and see who he's become if he's this jaded and this withdrawn already. Ashley.
Yeah, if he survives. I really like the exposition in the very beginning. If you watched it, it went by really fast, but all in this striving to attain immortality, right? That's ultimately what everyone wants to do. I want to be the
Yeah.
ruling power, the one who has the aliens, makes the rules, apparently. And so, how can I get to that finish line the fastest? He reminds me of an evil Willy Wonka, a evil young Willy Wonka. That's how he dresses. That's how he looks. That's how he moves about the cabin freely. I knew he was suspect when he threw that ball at Wendy. I said, "Why would you do that? Like, why would you throw it at her head that fast, sir?" I knew he couldn't give a damn. I knew he was going to be problematic with that pointy little nose and that cunning mouth. I knew it. Now, what I think we're gonna see horrors from him. I don't know in what. When we were down there before Wendy actually transitioned over into her new body. I don't know if everyone noticed, but the screams, the cages or whatever rooms they had down below where she was walking through.
Silly
Yeah,
watch.
I said, oh yeah. So I really hope we get into his nature because I think he's a terrible monster and I think he's doing all kinds of terrible experiments down there. I want to see how many failed attempts he's had because I know that this is the first successful, but how many has he tried before that? I hope he's super nefarious. I need a good villain. And I don't think Maro is going to be the villain we want because I don't think his intentions are really villainous. I'm really excited for him. I think he could be the one to watch this season. I think he's going to come out of his bag. I really do.
I was gonna ask you that. What did you think those people were doing when she's walking down that little corridor and he's like resealing and fixing the wall. Like, what put that damage there? If it's just kids here and these adults doing kind experiments
Mhm.
and mercy situations for kids who are ill, what's happening behind those walls to cause that
That's
kind
what
of
I
damage?
said. And I love it because it's this juxtaposition of I'm getting new life, but life is potentially ending down here. This is very dark. It's very scary. It's very foreboding, but I'm walking into this new life, this new path. Curse is reassuring me that no, I'm going to be able to live. We find out later the story. My dad said if I just go here and we're quiet about it, I'm going to be able to have this new life. Meanwhile, we're sealing off screams and all kinds of crazy
I
stuff
want to
down there.
see.
I
I
want to
was
get
like,
it.
with even with whatever condition that these children may have, you don't see any exchanges of them talking to a parent, or what parent is just sending their child. It's like, oh well, they're knocking on death's door, so we're just gonna. A lot of them still were filled with life and purpose and so hopeful of like the little girl said, when do we get to go home? Because I do want to go home. What parent is just, well, I'm gonna just give my baby over to science. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that. And yes, Peter Whalen. Thank you, Dane. Thank you, Dane. It was very Peter Whalen, because Peter Whalen was over there looking like death on a cracker. Like, sir, rolled over twice, just old, talking about some. You really thought this man was gonna roll up and give you the fountain of youth, sir? Please, yeah, we need to see that. We know that things are definitely going to get worse before they get better, but I do really like the fact that he's so young and adjacent to the Peter Pan, Neverland, never grow old type of narrative. Like, what do you want to accomplish here beyond having an intelligent conversation? You clearly have some stank motives, but it's fun. It's
Absolutely.
fun.
It's
So
smart too. I like the play on it. I think it's really cool and it's telling, right? Especially with where they're going. But it'll be interesting to see how it pans out.
it is, because if this has the potential to, go over, he can, they're starting off, he's very young, and we get to see him change and evolve and get worse and worse, and because it's there. I was like, where's your humanity? You're not that old. Like,
You don't have it.
you're like freaking 60. Like, where is it? It's like, yeah. Is she hooked up to the machine yet? We're trying to see something. Oh,
Yeah,
sir.
hurry up.
I can't wait to see. And we have Kirsch here, giving Blade Runner with this white hair. I was like, mm, I don't know. Is he a problem? I don't know. I feel like he is. You don't get to show up here with this hair and not be a problem. You don't get to show up here when we have, the cyborg and of course his mission here, where he's like kind of though that early synthetic. It kind of gave intimidation, like out with the old, in with the new. Like he's feeling a little, as smart as he is, because he's a scientist, and you see him working in adjacent with the other female on staff, where she's just, well, what can't we give them flowers? Where can't we play a song? If you don't get, we don't need to show them any humanity. They're robots. They're nothing. They're like, let's just get her done. This isn't that. Why are we pretending that Wendy's something that she isn't? But it's almost like he sees Wendy and everything else as kind of a threat to me, because it's like, who am I beyond that? Will I be old days news with this newly introduction? And then he's kind of set there as the older used goods mentor. So I do think that he is a problem. But I put here, is he Roy Batty coded? If you have, you seen Blade Runner?
No.
No, never.
No.
Well, if you guys have seen Blade Runner in the chat, y'all know what Roy was over there trying to accomplish. He was also a synthetic hybrid, whatever type situation. He was also one that was in a quest for his own kind of humanity, because they only, once again, here had expectations for them to only want, do, and evolve to know so much. And it's like, well, no, I have a complex myself, because I do have a humanity, even though I'm not expected to have one. And we go on that quest with him and Harrison Ford on down there. Good TV, good TV. But it's like, is that kind of his narrative too? Because where he's criticizing Wendy and, oh, she's trying to do this, and what's with all, like, you act very human. It took me a minute to realize, and if they hadn't said it, I wouldn't have known that he was a synthetic. I thought for a while that he was a real person, but you're, having these human-like qualities and regurgitation too. You have that about you too, and I don't think that's something that you want to lose, because that makes you who you are. So why are you so quick to dismiss it when it's Wendy or are these children, and be this mentor, but also kind of be really guarded and low-key jealous? I feel like when Wendy decides to go rogue and act up, he's gonna be the one trying to snatch her back into submission and be a slow agent of chaos and progress. Ashley.
Really? I didn't get that from Kirsch.
Oh my.
I got like overprotective dad vibes from Kirsch, but we'll see how it pans out. I hope he's not nefarious.
Protective dad's fight. Girl, if he could have shoved and killed all them kids, he would get this out of here.
No, especially as it relates to Wendy, because the conversation before, the conversation when she's talking about her brother and he's just trying to spit something real to her, like he's a human. Humans all die from one way or the sickness, old age,
That
whatever it
sounds
is.
evil. When he did it, it sounded
Yeah,
evil.
I didn't get that from him, but I'm gonna keep watching, and see what happens. I really enjoy Justified, aka Deadwood, over here. I think he's doing a great job. The one thing that it did make me question was the evolution of the synth and how over time maybe they are evolving as well. Because there were a lot of moments where I was like, oh, okay. So no, it's just a distraction. He definitely seems like he gets agitated. He definitely seems like he's got that going on. And I don't know, it'll be very, very interesting. And like Boy Kavalier was saying, he has knowledge, but he doesn't have wisdom. Like I'm needing someone in the space that's got wisdom. So I do question whether or not he feels like he might be becoming obsolete. That's definitely a thing with the advent of a hybrid. What does that mean for me in my future? But as far as his delivery, as far as the persona, I'm over here with Kirsch. I like him so far, Tyra. I'm not going to say he's a problem yet. I'm going to wait, watch, and see. He's her mentor at this point, and he's teaching her what he knows. I'm
I feel like even that. I feel like this mission, being her mentor, I feel like he probably thinks that this is beneath him. Like this is what I've been reduced to. Really, I think he's been agitated since we met him. Even from the moment with the scorpion, and then we're having that they were having that conversation. I don't think it was just a lack of compassion because he is a sentient. I think like, oh, I'm being replaced. This is that. Like I think he could care less, and if he could do away with every one of those hybrids and Wendy, he would. I think he has some nefarious stuff going on, and that scorpion scenario was more of a threat, impending threat. Bro, I'll bite back. Because she was like, well, kill it. I don't want it to hurt you, so kill it. It's like, nah, I am the scorpion. I don't know. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. I got stink vibes off of Kirsch immediately.
But that's going to defeat the purpose of him being a synth, right? Because he's not supposed to have any autonomy in terms of emotion, right?
Well, that's what they said, but we see what Wendy over there doing.
Yeah.
Wendy and the children, they emotional. They want to go hide and go run. They think they on a field trip. Wendy thinks she on a magic school bus door. I'm waiting on Boots to walk out with her in her backpack. She thinks she on an adventure. I'm on an adventure to save my brother. Yay! Like they don't have any situational awareness whatsoever about how serious this is, or even why they're really there. Oh, he told us to get the specimens and collect the data. Is this data? Should we wrap this up? They don't know. And Wendy's like, well, I'm the big sister. You go over there and you be safe, okay? I'm gonna leave. Like, and he left too. He left too. Like, wow, how much of a mentor or protector are you being? And you're not even there, like in the grips of everything. We on a field trip, 10 and 2, everybody stick together, crisscross applesauce. You're supposed to have all those kids wrangled in. They all spread out, waiting to die, poking at creatures and stuff. He don't care about nothing. No. But leaving this here, we shall see if he continues to be the mentor. Didn't want to leave them out because they were there and I was here. I knew Wendy was going to be a force to reckon with when she was trying to like ascend one of those babies. And he was like, well, yeah, we need to get, just like, move over there. I'm doing something here. Move. But a lot of this here, and we'll get to our last person after them as far as the divide between having humanity and not having it, and how somebody like Wendy can have it even though she's not a somebody anymore. We do have humans here who could possibly, extend an olive branch of humanity if it ever comes to that. We have Dan here, no, Dame, I think her name was Dame Sylvia, and her husband Arthur here, who are people who work for this corporation, of course. But eventually, when we start to peek and get behind walls, I think that one or the two of them are going to be useful, probably her. I don't think we've seen the interworkings of what's really going on here and what everybody is really participating in. And from the beginning, you could see her really reaching and trying, even trying to level with the evil boy prodigy of, well, I hope you're creating these things, to later have some true meaning. And it's not just, for profit or just for evil intent, right? Like, we know exactly what we're doing here, ma'am. We're not about to play with you. But the fact that she could even have a heart, I feel like she probably introduced, well, at least give them a flower. Let them hold the flower before they go on. Let them watch, let them watch Peter Pan. I think that maybe she's a part of those things because she's trying to keep them. Ashley, do you feel like either one of these people will be of any help? A voice of reason or something, or have some type of aid and compassion when we later get to looking behind those walls and things just go completely astray because stuff gonna fall.
The doctors are always abhorrent. I think I don't buy her smile and cheesy compassion. I don't buy it, girl, because you're the mastermind behind all this foolishness. You're the one walking them through it. You know the possible outcomes for them, and yet you're still doing it. I don't trust people like her. I think she's probably really a bad one. And her husband's useless. Her husband's absolutely useless to me. I was like, what are you? I was like, are you a cuck? Like, he was sitting there just very like, well, should we let her do it? I don't know. I want more from Arthur. We'll see. But honestly, I don't necessarily buy her act yet. I don't buy the hair. And I don't like this May December relationship either, Tyra. It gives.
Actually,
It,
go away.
I don't.
Nobody mentioned no May December relationship.
I
And
don't.
we don't know how old these people are to say that it's May December. We don't know that.
It looks May December. I don't like her. I don't trust her. Like I said, it's the doctors are always nefarious to me because you are behind these experiments, you're behind these procedures, you know the drawbacks, you know the risks, you know things that we haven't even seen yet, and you're the mastermind behind them. I don't trust her. I don't like her. And we'll see what happens. I don't buy it. I don't buy the caring act. Oh, have a heart. It's a kindness. It's being a compassionate person. No. Give me Kirsch any day. What'd you say? Fruit from the vinyl, Team Kirsch. Bump
The
down.
same energy you have for Kirsch, I guess that'll be our back and forth until we see what's what. The same energy you have for Kirsch, that's what I have for her. I think she might be that go between and really break those boundaries of, oh, okay, even though it's already probably gone too far. Okay, now enough is enough. I stood by long enough and being complacent. Let me step in, even if it means my life. I got to do
You're
something.
cowardly
I feel like
lion. She's behind it. She's a mastermind.
I feel like it's that. I don't know. We shall see. But that's what I got. But stay on over to Kirsch. You don't trust Kirsch in that white hair. It's probably a kill switch on him too. He's a sleeper cell. So here. And now, lastly, we have Joe here. Is Joe more than he appears? Now, I'm asking that because even though we have Joe, Joe has all the humanity. Joe was trying to make a thug cry in these 2 episodes. He's just longing for something, some purpose, some life. All my family is no longer here. My sister died long ago. My dad just died. All I have is these memories. Yeah, I know I'm on contract for however many months, but can I end it early to just go off and just find myself, find peace, find something? He is a hermit crab. He is extremely lonely. And it seems like he only has his past memories to cling to, like baseball or family time or movies. And it's just really sad. He's just so in search, which is really interesting when you compare the two. We have Wendy in search of him and him in search of something. And Wendy supposedly is, no humanity. But he was the emotional beat of the episode for a lot of it. And he had a lot of weight to carry, like really quickly, for us to care about Wendy ever getting to him or saving him or anything. Now him being security and all the failed attempts and that's par for the course in the Aliens franchise. Security's never army, security, armed gunmen. They're never gonna do anything, of use, but probably make a sad decision, make a wrong turn, get somebody killed. But he is just simply content with doing his job until Sister Wendy eventually emerges and he asks her a couple of questions and confirms this is actually some form of my sister. And they have this soft little embrace. It was great. I was like, oh, come on now. But is he like more than what appears? Is he an asset to the bigger picture? I just don't understand them allowing Wendy to continue to have this connection, to watch him, to even have this. Wendy is you can't convince me she's doing anything that they don't know about. That's not planned for first, and they're probably just watching and notating and doing. And I want to know if Joe is more essential than he appears to just, be the brother in search of something. And now I have this, and I need to save my brother as Sister Wendy. What does Joe mean to you, Ashley? And did he hit the emotional beats for you in the episode?
No.
What?
Joe is a little useless weakling. I can't stand Hermit Crab. Damn it. And his sister is his biggest op, because let's call a thing and let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil today. The only reason he was on this first responder medic team and not on Mars in medical school is because of his op sister, who said, I just want to keep him close so I can watch him and stalk him and do it. That's not love. That's not love. That's not kindness. He is going to be our fatal hero at some point in time. And I just hate it. He's so weakling. Yes. He's always going to be on death's door. Someone's always going to have to save him. Like, the only reason the people was like, boy, if you don't jump across here, he was getting punked the first scene we saw him in with the people. I said, oh, he's one of them. I said, what? Where? Are the Hemsworth boys booked up solid? Is there
What?
no
We don't need a muscle bound person here all the time in a Sigourney.
I need something hot and steamy over here. I don't want him, Tyra. Like he's
So that's really your problem. He not big fine. Is that what the issue is?
not. He's a weakling. He's such a weakling, and clearly he don't want a hybrid either. You're not my sister. You're a synth. It gave that I'm classist as well. So between him and Wendy, I don't even know where this is gonna go. He's gonna be used. He'll be a pawn, and he'll come in at the last moment and do something right. But he's gonna make so many missteps. I'm not looking forward to him. No, I didn't shed a tear. I was like, why are you hugging your op? She don't really love you for real. That's the way I felt about it. That's honestly how I felt. I don't like Hermit Crab. I don't like his sideburns. I don't like the thing that I hate the way that he walks. I hate the way that he talks. All right. I just do.
The sideburns are catching a stray. First of all, we are not going to label Wendy as the biggest op. With all that technology they have brewing over there, Wendy could have watched him from any walks of life in the world.
She's
And
his biggest op.
you know how these things go in this universe. You lose your parents, they work you to death, you're on contract for however long until that's free, and they probably throw you in the ground. You just work till you're dead. You work to live, like real life. Um, but I like their situation. I love their embrace. I love when he picked up the baseball and he was reminiscing, and it's just like a pastime that I'm never going to get again. I'm never going to have this again. I'm never going to have any form of connection to anyone. I'm a hermit. I'm a recluse. Might as well pop out and probably half-ass do my job. Like he's almost like in waiting to ascend himself and go on to glory. Like what is life? Doesn't have any really true meaning. And then you have this, air of hope fly through and Wendy. Like there's this. He didn't give me like you're a saint. He didn't give me that. I think it was like you're not my sister. You couldn't possibly be. I was told X, Y, and Z. And then once he got confirmation, it was like, oh my goodness, it's something I can hold on to. I thought it was sentimental. I did.
I don't need to be the thing you hold on to, but I will say I am interested in the story. I do want to know more about the history. I'm interested to see what it could be. That's kind of the part that I'm like, oh, Wendy's different. She's evolving. She's changing. Who is she going to be? But I mean, let's just call a thing, Tyra. At the end of the day, he wouldn't be at the grips of the Xenomorph if his sister hadn't intervened. He was going to be on Mars in medical school. Just saying.
I think we're going to have him really pop out because now he essentially has something to fight and live for. He has a purpose beyond what does it all mean? Where do we all go when we die? I'm just going to do this job until I can't do it anymore. Do I really have to do it? Is there any purpose in life and living now? I think we're going to see him kind of jump into some, we're going to see him jump into action and do something else. And then I think it's going to be like, what the hell are you fighting for? Like, this isn't your sister. She is, a synth. She is a hybrid. Like, this, like, no, my sister's. I think we're going to see a little bit of what we saw in Alien Romulus and that dynamic of, even though she played on his top in Alien Romulus, because girl, what the hell you mean you was gonna leave me here? I think we're gonna see some of that here, where things will be questioned because there is gonna be so much growth in Wendy and so much humanity displayed to where the lines are going to be blurred, and I'm not going to want to hear anything anybody has to say, because this is my damn sister and they're going to be fighting for each other. I'm here for it. I think it's going to be great. I'm so shocked at you, Ashley. I'm normally the one, like, didn't get the emotional beats in the episode. You'd be like, you be the main one. I was
Like,
about to.
in that one, and like in every episode, it's like, oh, somebody got to swipe in to save him. I'm just not into that anymore. Like,
Every episode, we got that one moment.
no, baby, we got two moments. Morrow had to save him. His
Yeah,
people
I
had to
forgot about
save
that
him.
one. He
They had
did.
to snatch him and
That
come
was
down
like
and be.
unintentional,
Everybody
though.
got to save him. Don't save him. He don't want to be saved. Like, just, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We'll see. I'm gonna wait and watch. And my opinion is subject to change. So let's see what he does in episode 3. Let's see who got to save him then.
Y'all, we're gonna take a pause for the cause in the end, because I do notice a lot towards the end. People tend to leave before they hit that like button. I'm gonna take a moment for y'all to hit that like button, and we're gonna come back, and Ashley's gonna give you her predictions on him being a simp. We'll be right back, y'all.
This ain't what you want. Sexy flip. I just wanna rock. I just wanna. I just wanna rock. Body yada yada. Shorty got that body yada yada. Hit it once, no time. Set up, fuck, you gon' feel my vibe. Stand on my money, don't know my side. Kick them sides. And you better choose wisely. That's my high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. That's my high. This ain't what you project. This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want. Sexy flip.
Ashley, not I'm not gonna play with you. Ashley, do you have any predictions, if possible, for the third episode?
No, but go back to I want to see the first scene, because the black chick with the braids, I do want to see more from her. I do want to see if we get any action with her, because she was the main one bullying your boy in the first. I'm very interested in Maro's storyline. I hope we get more of his history and his resolve, right? Like, why is he so resolved to accomplish this mission? I want to know more about him. He's probably the most intriguing character to me so far. I also want to know to what extent Wendy's capabilities are going to extend, and how long we're going to be on this damn ship. Is the whole season going to be on this ship recovering specimens or getting unalived by specimens? I really also want to get into the dungeon cellar of Boy Cavalier's, whatever it is, plantation, I'm gonna call it, and see what he's up to down there. I'm really curious about the dynamics, the politics behind it, and I hope we kind of get more of the backstory in the series as opposed to what we get in the movies. I'm really interested in that, and also to see if I'm wrong about Wendy. Maybe I'm wrong about Wendy and Hermit Crab. Maybe there is, something really good and deep behind it. Hopefully that comes out in episode 3.
Well, like Ashley said, I'm definitely intrigued too by Black Chick with Braids. It's like Black Chick with Braids, with the red braids, and not so much intrigued because she kind of gave me Vasquez from Aliens. That's all I got off of her, and we all know what happened. But Vasquez when I like a G, and Vasquez was all muscle, brawn, ready for that work. I was there for that, so I think that she's going to be like a formidable. We gonna need some muscle somewhere, since Ashley said everybody's a punk. We gonna need somebody putting in some work and knowing what to do with that weaponry. I am intrigued by everything. Predictions, I would never pretend to think I know where this is going. But I did have an kind of a concern where Ashley said, like, is this a movie? Is this going to be like, because it really, every single the 2 episodes we got so far, it feels like a pause in the movie. And if it's a movie, are we going to stay in the confines of this situation? not even just this ship, but how long are we going to be here? How much are we going to evolve in the show before we get to episode 8? Because it did, and I'm not saying that the episodes weren't fulfilling or I felt like they was filler and they were wasting time, and don't try to make it long, prolong a 2-hour movie into an 8-episode show. I don't think it's that, but I am concerned with where everything is going narratively with kind of how we have those pauses in between episode 1, 2, and how it ends, because we're still on the ship. We do have those aids there. When he said, "I'm going to get my brother, okay? Get to safety." Winking the gun. It's like, Wendy talking for me. Yeah. I'm gonna protect you because I'm. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Okay, Wendy. All right. Okay. I want to see that. I want to see Courage get wicked. I want to see him get evil because I feel like it's in. I feel like he's just waiting for the moment. I'm waiting for them to. I'm waiting to see the ultimate capabilities of these hybrid children. There's no way in hell that this is that. There's so many of them there, and it would just be such a waste to do all that work and kind of bring them to the slaughter. I hope it's not that. It couldn't possibly be that. So I want to see, like, oh, okay, well, this is how they react to this now. And we're like this close on the brink of death, and Willy Wonka hits a button, and it's like, oh, what the hell? I want to see that. And even, with that same button, it either changes Wendy too, or kind of, getting back over there into Romulus. Or it's like, well, Wendy doesn't have that, and she's still acting on her own accord. I'm just interested to see where it all goes. I'm interested in the murder, death, kills that are coming our way. If we were this bloody and this gory, episodes 1 and 2, you can't like slack off later. You got to come this hard every single time, and I'm intrigued by it all. But Ashley, that was the episode. Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm excited to see what else they have to offer. Like this was a really strong debut and premiere. So I'm excited to see what he has up his sleeve, and where we're gonna go from here. And are we gonna meet any more characters? I'm really excited about the cast and what we're gonna see. And y'all, but I'm into it. Let's see where it goes.
I'm definitely into it. I cannot wait. What we got? Do we have anything coming up tomorrow?
The way I feel about it, no.
We'll play that by ear. I'll talk to Ashley about it when we get off of this live. You guys have a wonderful night. Be sure to comment your thoughts on the show, on our commentary, and we might be here for something tomorrow. We might not. I'm not sure. But thank you guys so much for giving us your time, and we will see you next time for Alien Earth.
Good night.
What? Look. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. Huh? They ain't talking about nothing. Alright. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing. What they talking about? They ain't talking about nothing.